What's up, fellas? In the second video of the day, we're going to be talking about a very, very interesting and odd rumor that I've been seeing flying around. And that is the possibility that Kawhi Leonard could be interested in joining the Miami Heat as a free agent this offseason. Kawhi is kind of the big fish left amongst his free agency class. I'm going to be honest, mentally, I'd kind of just already penciled him into returning to the Clippers. But clearly that shouldn't be the case. This seems like a fairly reputable rumor about him possibly being intrigued by joining Miami. We're going to talk about how that would work. We're going to talk about if Miami could even sign him, how interested he would be. Do I think it's actually going to happen? All that good stuff. So we're going to be talking about in the second video of the day. But really quickly, before we get started, if you enjoy content like this, then consider subscribing. I upload twice a day, every single day on this channel. So it's a great place for the most consistent NBA content on YouTube. If you're new here, by the way, what's up? My name is Tucker. You can also leave a like rating on the videos as well. And you can check me out at various socials and a Linktree link down in the description below. With those things said, let's talk about Kawhi potentially going to Miami. So essentially this rumor just says Kawhi could be intrigued by the possibility of going to play with Jimmy Butler, going to play with Bam Adebayo, going to be in South Beach and playing, for the Miami Heat, Heat culture, all that good stuff. And I'm like, this is pretty much the only destination that I think Kawhi would actually consider leaving LA for, because we know that he wanted to go to LA for the longest time. And he finally got there, and it would be kind of hard to believe that he would just randomly dip then after going from San Antonio to Toronto to LA and then to Miami. But if you're someone that is clicking on this and you're already thinking, okay, well, this rumor isn't real, there's no way this is going to happen, here's what I would tell you. NBA free agency very, very rarely, especially with some of the bigger name guys and especially over the last couple of years, very rarely does it go the way that we think that it will. Think about it. The season before Kyrie left Boston, towards the end of it, it seemed clear he was going to leave. The beginning of that season, nobody thought Kyrie was going to leave. And then, it became clearer and clearer throughout the year. Okay, maybe he is going to leave. For a lot of people, they did not anticipate Giannis re-signing with Milwaukee. That ended up happening. And you can go to all kinds of different examples. And all I would say is this stuff can get crazy quickly. If the Clippers have another huge collapse in the postseason, who's to say that Kawhi isn't going to reconsider being in LA? They've already gone through a coach. He doesn't want to go play for the Lakers, but maybe he wants to go and just be like, you know what? I just want to go win a title. I want to go play for some players that I enjoy playing with. And the Clippers are just cursed. I legitimately think that that's a possibility. So we'll kind of get to the feasibility of that at the end here. But let's talk about this from the Heat's perspective. So do the Miami Heat have enough salary cap space? Is it feasible? Is it possible for them to be able to sign Kawhi Leonard to a max contract this offseason in free agency? Yes, with a few caveats. They can keep Jimmy Butler. They can keep Bam Adebayo. They can keep Tyler Hero. They can keep Precious Achiuwa. They can keep KZ Okpala. However, they would have to renounce the cap hold, aka the ability to re-sign these players by going over the salary cap, aka their bird rights. They would have to renounce the cap hold on recently acquired Victor Oladipo and Duncan Robinson, as well as any other free agents that they have in the roster. And then they would have just enough to be able to sign Kawhi Leonard to a max contract worth about, I believe, $33 to $34 million this offseason. Now, the counter to that would be, well, why would you renounce the cap hold of those guys? Why wouldn't you just continue to run it back? I hear you, but when you have the opportunity potentially to sign Kawhi Leonard, it's not necessarily something that you should pass up just offhand. The other thing they would have to do is decline the team options on both Goran Dragic as well as Andre Iguodala, and then they're squared away. Then they're good to go. So yes, it is possible. And then with some of those other younger guys, Precious, Hero, Okpala, you then do have some flexibility if you wanted to go and even get a fourth guy if that was something that you were interested in via trade and just some draft picks, all of which creates a very, very interesting situation in Miami. Now, I'm going to be honest. If this was a team other than Miami, even like not specific to the Kawhi thing, I would not give a lot of credence to this rumor. However, Miami Heat free agency pitches, even outside of the LeBron Big Three stuff, are legendary. Like, you can go back, there's a Gordon Hayward story where it seemed like, okay, Gordon Hayward, if he's going to leave Utah, he's going to go to Boston. He knows Brad Stevens, all that stuff. He was like very, very, very close to signing with Miami in that offseason rather than going to Boston because he was just blown away by that pitch. And then you can go back to, even in the 2000s, there are multiple stories that the Miami Heat, Pat Riley, those guys, they really, really know how to pitch a free agency destination and pitch to a free agent. So if this is really something that here's kind of the sequence of events in my head. Let's just say the Clippers get bounced in the first or the second round, right? Paul George doesn't play well in the postseason, and Kawhi's looking around and he's like, we've already gone through a coach. I don't think I really want to play with Paul George anymore. We don't have a future. We don't have draft picks. The other guys on the roster are just kind of this isn't working for me. I'm trying to win a title. I'm not trying to just waste away the last couple of years of my prime here. And then he starts, he's like, okay, well, let me think about my free agency options. Don't really want to leave LA, but, Miami's not all that bad. Let me go take a meeting with Miami. And the Heat just crushed the pitch. And all of a sudden he's looking at it. He's like, okay, do I want to play with Luke Kennard, Marcus Morris, Paul George, or do I want to go play with Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, those guys, or the possibility of adding a fourth star, and then, the benefit of being in Miami and being able to bring in all these different types of guys in, in free agency for smaller numbers. Then you're starting to look at it and you're thinking, well, what's frustrating me about LA right now? Well, I really have to initiate a lot of the offense. That's frustrating. Okay, Jimmy Butler's got that. You want a guy that's going to be able to do all the dirty work defensively. He's going to be crazy versatile all over the place, bring energy. Bam's got that. Jimmy Butler's got that. You want some flexibility. You want the opportunity to bring in some other guys. Tyler Hero, Precious Achiuwa, KZ Okpala, draft picks. They can go out and get somebody. And all of a sudden you're looking at it, you're thinking from a basketball perspective, if you just take the context out of it and you take him wanting to be in LA initially and all of a sudden switching to his fourth team in as many years, or fourth team in 6 years, if you take all that away, you're starting to think from a basketball perspective, it's pretty clear which one makes more sense, right? And then that's how you get to crazy, crazy stuff happening. Now, what would I put the likelihood of this actually happening at? About 20%. It's still mentally really, really difficult as of right now for me to see a scenario in which Kawhi does not re-sign with the Clippers or signs like a 1-1 and leaves the possibility open in the future. And the big caveat to that would be them having a historic, embarrassing collapse in the postseason again. Depending on how the standings work out, they might end up playing Denver or the Lakers in the first round. The Lakers are sliding, the Clippers are all up and down. Those top 5, top 6 teams in the West are going to be all over the place. And one really, really good team is not going to make it to the second round. And if that team is the Clippers, I think that changes a lot of things. The rumors are going to start swirling and he could start looking at going somewhere else. And I don't think that's something that a lot of people are really considering right now. Now, for Miami, let's just say that this doesn't happen, right? Let's just say that, they are not able to convince Kawhi Leonard or maybe the Clippers are really successful in the postseason. It's not the end of the world. You can still keep Oladipo if he plays well for you. You can keep Duncan Robinson and you just keep running it back and you've got options to make some moves. Butler, Bam, Oladipo is not a bad combination at all, depending on what they do in the playoffs this year. There's still a lot of options here for Miami, and it's one of the reasons why they're still one of the best front offices in the league is because they always leave themselves flexibility to do this kind of stuff where they're not all in on free agency, but if an opportunity presents itself the way it did for Jimmy Butler 2 years ago, they're going to be able to capitalize on it. So don't count this Heat team out. That's all I'm saying. I know it's weird to think about Kawhi leaving in the first place, then him ending up in Miami. I know all that stuff is strange to think about, but free agency is crazy. The Heat are notorious for incredible free agency pitches. And the Clippers might just be cursed at this point. If they lose in the first or the second round, Kawhi's going to start looking around and wondering, is this the best basketball situation for me? Did I make a mistake by coming here in the first place? Should I have gone somewhere else? Should I stay in Toronto? All of a sudden, all these thoughts start running through your mind. You're not, you don't have a great relationship with Paul George anymore. And suddenly Kawhi Leonard ends up as a member of the Heat. Right now, like I said, about a 20% shot. If they have a really, really bad postseason, I think it's 50-50. Honestly, I do. Now, I think these are the only two teams, in play for what would be the biggest free agent in the offseason in Kawhi Leonard. I think it's only the Heat and the Clippers that are going to have an opportunity here. And ultimately, maybe just the desire for Kawhi to be in LA is what, causes him to return. And there's really no option for him to leave. But I think it's a very, very interesting situation to keep an eye on. But yeah, that is going to be the end of the second video of the day, and I thank you guys very much for watching. Once again, my name is Tucker. If you missed any of my previous videos, then be sure to check out the boxes on screen as well as the videos on the channel as a whole. You can leave a like rating on the videos as well if you're enjoying them, and you can check me out at various socials in a Linktree link down in the description below. Every single social media I have is included in that link. I want to try and get you guys more involved in these videos with tweets, messages, whatever you send me, as I did, I believe it was yesterday at this point. Stuff like that is just fun, trying to get you guys a little bit more involved in these via those socials. So follow those, message me, hit me up, and yeah, maybe you'll make it into a video. That would be super, super fun to kind of incorporate you guys in that way. With all those things said, hope you guys have an awesome rest of your Tuesday, and I will see you on next. Wow, I messed that up, and I will see you all next time.